Hey, welcome back everybody. This is video 2 of the Legas All-Purpose Solutions demo store, and in this video we're going to look at the admin panel. So this is the part where you, the dealer, can manage all aspects of the web store. So let's go ahead and dive straight in. So we log into the admin panel, and the first thing you're going to notice is that the whole back end of the software has been deliberately designed to look and work and feel like a Windows desktop. And the reason for that is that most people know how to use one of them. So that's the thinking behind the design choice. Make it look and work and feel nice and familiar, something people already know, and the onboarding curve or the training curve should be much less painful than it would be for, say, an ERP system or one of the competing web products. So like a Windows desktop, if you want to access any of the functionality, you click on the Start button, and we will start by having a quick look at the Customer Manager. So this is going to load up a list of all the customers registered on the store, and from here you can add a new customer by clicking on that button. You can import a whole bunch of customers by clicking on that button, if you've got them on an Excel spreadsheet somewhere, for example. Or you can click through on an existing customer ID to go into that record and do something with that customer. So that's what we're going to do here. Let's go ahead and click through on the demo account. That takes us into the demo account. You're going to get at this point what we call the static information for the customer. So that would be things like, default billing and shipping, when did they last log in, when did they last place an order, all that kind of stuff. And then at this stage there's some nice little bits of customization you can do. So for example, you could upload the dealer or the customer's logo. And the effect that has is when the customer logs in, it's going to replace your store logo with the customer's logo. So that's a nice little bit of personalization you can do at the customer level. Beyond that, there's other nice little bits of eye candy in here. So if you need to go and visit them, we'll tell you where they are, give you a nice map. But the real takeaway from this screen, the most important thing to note, is that once you've clicked through on that customer record, you don't ever have to leave this screen to do anything with this customer. So for example, if you wanted to manage the addresses for this customer, then you click on the Address tab and you can add, import and modify. And it's the same thing everywhere you go. So if you wanted to manage cost centers, you click on the Cost Centers tab. If you want to see the orders they've placed in the past, you click on the Orders tab, and of course you can click through to get the detail. If you need to set up some order pads for the customer, if you need to manage the users for the customer, you can literally do anything that you would ever need to do for this customer just by clicking through these tabs here. So that's a really nice design choice that we've made there, and the net result of that is everything's so simple. We didn't want to build something where you needed to be a PhD in computer science to use this. We absolutely know that our customers' business is Jansan, and selling Jansan and keeping customers happy. You shouldn't need to be an IT wizard to work one of these products, and you certainly don't to work ours. So that's customers. Next up, we're going to have a very quick look at pricing. Okay, strap yourselves in for this one, folks. The pricing, because we started life in Office products, the pricing is incredibly complex and detailed and flexible. It goes really deep, so for the sake of this demo, I'm just going to try and keep it at a very general level. And there's basically 3 different ways that you can price the website. So the first way that you can do that is called customer contracts and deals. So that's pretty self-explanatory. It's where you click through on the customer's account and you give them some pricing that's unique to them, driven by their login. Okay, so that's customer pricing. Next one up is called global pricing, and you could think about global pricing as the storefront pricing. Okay, the price that anybody's going to see and get unless there's something in their account that says different. So if somebody found you, clicked through from Google and found you on the internet, they would see the global pricing, but of course their customer pricing would override that if they had any set up. The last one that we need to talk about here is called group contracts. And group contracts is where you can build one pricing structure and then apply that to 1,000 different customers. Now, regardless of which one you're in, whether it's customer, global or group, then the tools to price are exactly the same. So just to give you a flavour for what can be done here, let's go ahead and do the pricing for the demo account. So we click through on C3, which is the demo account. We then click through on that customer's contract. Contracts are pretty straightforward. They have a name, they have a priority number, and they have a date range. And once those things have been filled in, it's going to expose this silver bar along the top here, and that contains all the tools that you can use to price this customer's account. So let's start with probably the most obvious and simple way of pricing the customer's account, which is called item pricing. Some people call it contract pricing, bid pricing. We call it item pricing, and this is really straightforward. This is where you say this customer buys item code 123456 at $15. Now that could be a fixed price. It could also be a discount off list, a markup on cost, or a margin. So item code, set your pricing method, your value, and save. Boom, done. Of course, we don't make you key that stuff in. All of that stuff can be imported through an Excel spreadsheet. So that's the most simple form of pricing: code, price, and add. Next up, we can start to get more broad with the pricing. So band pricing is the ability to do a discount, a markup, or a margin across all products for this customer. So, an example, if we said on band A products, which covers all items, I want to do a discount from list of 20%, okay, and I want to have that applied to the Legas catalogue. Go ahead and click save. That's just discounted all products for this customer by 20%. But of course, if they've got any item pricing set up, then that will override any discounts that have been set up for the customer. Now we can start to get more granular. And next up, we've got classification pricing, or what some people might call pricing by category. So in this example, we could say, okay, under cleaners and detergents and all subcategories underneath that, so for the products that exist in those categories, then I want to make 25% margin. So we set our percentage. Our method would be a margin from cost, and we want that to apply to the Legas catalogue. Go ahead and click save, and we're going to make a 25% margin on all those products. Remember that if you are doing markup or margin pricing, then we can go out to Legas and fetch your cost price and update the site with that on a regular basis. Next up is brand. So everything that we've looked at so far, margin, markup and discount, you've got exactly the same controls at the brand level. So you select your brands, select your margins or your discounts, and click go. And the last thing I'll mention here is quantity breaks. So quantity breaks, or as some people call them, multi-buys. That's where you say this customer can buy dishwashing detergent at $12, but they need to buy 100 to get that price. So it's item code, the price, and then the quantity required in order to get that multi-buy price. And of course, as soon as you set it here, that shows up on the front end. So that's all the tools that you've got to price the customer's account, the storefront, or create group contracts and attach customers to those group contracts. Like I say, guys, the pricing does go much deeper than that, but that's pretty much it at a general level. I hope that gives you a nice feel for what can be done there. Next up, we're going to have a very quick chat about products. So as I said in the storefront video, the site's going to come delivered to you with all the Legas content, and we keep that up to date. You don't have to worry about that. But beyond that, you will undoubtedly want to add some of your own products. And own products are just items that you don't source from Legas, or items that we don't manage on your behalf. There's two ways to get those items into the website. You can add them manually, and that's cool. It will work. It will just take you a while. Or, more sensibly, you could import them through an Excel spreadsheet. It's a pretty simple spreadsheet. We ask you for a minimum of about 5 or 6 pieces of data that we need to build a product. And then as a separate action, you could bulk upload the images for those own products that you are entering into the system. So beyond Legas, you've got full control over the products on the website and full control over the category structure. There may be certain items or brands within the ranges that you don't want to sell. So for example, you can go in and deactivate brands, you can prioritize other brands and have them bubble up to the top when people are drilling down through the website. You can deactivate products that you don't want to sell. So there is tons of flexibility and control within the products and the categories, and it's all accessed through the back end here. The last thing in this video that we're going to look at, guys, is the Sales and Marketing Manager. So right at the start of the storefront video, I told you that it was really easy to manage the banner content on the website. So this is where you do it. So for example, if we wanted to change the big savings banner on the home page, then we click through on the banner name itself. So once we've clicked through on that banner ID, it's going to give us the name, the priority, and the date range. So it's really, really cool that each banner's got its own date range, because if you think about that for a second, you could technically set up a whole year's worth of banners in advance, or a whole quarter, and providing you've got the start and the end dates synced properly, then the old banners will fade out as the new ones fade in. So that's why it's really cool that every banner's got its own date range. It's date sensitive. If we go along to the image tab, that will show us what currently occupies that space on the website. If you want to change that to something else, it's really simple. You just browse to the new file somewhere on your PC and you click save, and that content will be immediately replaced with whatever you uploaded. Now that could be a standard image file like a JPEG or a PNG or a GIF, but it could also be a flash banner as well. And flash banners tend to be, it's not the right word, but they tend to be sexier with the transitions and the fade ins and the fade out. So we have support for both types of banners, static and flash. Then you kind of need to decide where the banner is going to show up, and that's handled under the location tab. So is it going to be in the center column, left column, or right column? Well, in this case, it's going to be in the center column, and it's going to be priority 1. So what does that mean? Center column priority 1 is going to be the first banner in the center column. The one underneath that would be 2, and the one underneath that would be 3. So you can see how this priority number works in conjunction with the location tab to decide where banners show up on the website homepage. But of course, you aren't just limited to banners on the homepage, because you can take this whole concept of banner management and you can move that into the product. So for example, you can assign banners to category pages, okay? And the way that we would do that is we click on the categories tab and we drill down, we'd highlight the categories that we want this banner to show up in, go ahead and click save, and that content would be immediately pushed into the site on the front end, and that banner content would bubble up to the top as customers were drilling down through the website. The last opportunity for banner placement is against keywords. So again, like I've covered on the storefront video, you can set the keywords that you would like the banner content to come up under, and when people search for those keywords, the system's going to bring back the normal results for that type of search, but push your banner content right to the top of those results. So think about that for a second. You've gone from having 8 to 10 homepage positions, a couple of 1,000 category positions, and potentially 50 squillion possible things that people might search for on the website, all of which you can control the merchandising and the marketing information on those pages. So huge opportunities for dealers there. The next challenge that comes up is you have to decide what happens when somebody clicks through on the banner. So, two options for you guys. Option number 1 is you can link them to a URL somewhere on the website, and you could do that just by typing it in here. Now that could be a product page or a category page, and that would work just fine. But option number 2, and our preferred option, and what we would recommend you do, is you could build a custom page behind that banner that was absolutely relevant to the promotion that was being offered. And you could build that page using the HTML editor to come up with some text and some images. But then above your message, your selling message, or below your selling message rather, you'd want to have some products, okay? And the way to add those products to that custom page is to come to this tab and just type the item codes. So if you type 5, 10, 15 item codes, click save, the system's going to build you this super custom page with your nice selling text, and underneath that, the products you wanted people to see, and the whole thing took 15-20 minutes. Instead of half a day or a full day if you just had one of these HTML editors. So the system does all the heavy lifting and helps you build these super custom landing pages. And what's the point in them? The point is that you want to drive up the conversion rates that you get from these types of activities and campaigns. Now, of course, these landing pages aren't just limited to banners, because you're going to do a whole bunch of things, aren't you? You're going to send email campaigns, you might do pay-per-click and Google AdWords. These banner landing pages are absolutely perfect for those types of activities, and again, the whole point is to drive up conversion. So, last thing we're going to finish on here, guys, is coupon codes. These just work fantastically well for the guys who use them. Basically, you could say, okay, when they add the code SAVE to the coupon code field in the shopping cart, we're going to give them a 10% discount. Okay, so we'll leave the coupon amount set to 10. The method could be a percentage or a dollar value, but we'll leave that set to percentage. Can the customer use it more than once? Yes or no. Set the date range for the coupon, and most importantly, the order value limit. So again, you don't want to give discounts away on, you know, little $20, $30 orders. You want to get a decent order value in return for the discount. So you might want to say this is only going to work when you've added $250 worth of product to the shopping cart. You would go ahead and click save. I guess at that point you could email your customers and say, hi guys, log in today, put code SAVE in the shopping cart to get 10% off on orders above $250, expires midnight. And that is a fantastic way of getting people to come back to the site and making orders happen when you need them to happen, not when the customer wants to buy stuff. So that's what coupon codes do. They drive the sales when you need the sales to happen. I think the last thing we need to finish on here, guys, because this comes up all the time in demos, is just to talk about how you could make an Evolution talk to your ERP system or any third-party system. That question comes up a lot. And little bit of context here, we are building the first ever open platform that people can come into and take and push and pull information to and from. So for example, things like customer information, order information, pricing, addresses, that data can be exchanged between an ERP and Evolution using what we would call web services. Some other people might call it APIs. So we publish a set of specifications. Providing you can write to those specifications, you'll be able to push and pull data from and to an Evolution store to any ERP system. Clearly it goes a bit deeper than that, guys, but for the sake of this demo, I just wanted you to know that we're an open platform. We want to work with all the ERP vendors. We want to be everybody's friend, and there are ways of getting that data in and out of Evolution. So that's pretty much it for this demo. I hope you enjoyed that, and we'll see you on the next video.